3 tips to improve Kamala's Harris speech.
You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right.
I don't know how literal this is, however, in general, if you have a good friend, you don't need to ask. A really good friend will tell you. If it's your closest friend, often, especially among school children, you are the very first person they speak to. So to me, the fact that she even had to ask calls into question how truly good friends these two were. So I would have rephrased, you don't have to lie, but you can rephrase it in a way where you don't disclose that you had to ask, let's say. I would have said, she opened up eventually to me.
And she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us. And
Take a pause. You said something very deep, very emotional. She was being sexually abused. Let that sink in. Take a pause, and then you add, that night she slept with us. Let people draw the conclusion that you invited her. It's much more powerful. Let's go to the next one.
as a prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim.
I think this was another mistake because it can make you come across as not empathetic enough. I think it's a good thing to also want to charge perpetrators in the name of the victims. Even if you don't think that way, remember, you are a politician now, you want to speak to as many people as possible, and the drive to revenge after you have been wronged is very common, and again, in my opinion, it's very fair. So I would have either cut this part or rephrased, because what she says next is very powerful.
But in the name of the people.
That's powerful. However, she could have said, when I charged it, I did it for the individual as well. However, most of all was in the name of the people. Something like that. In any case, you want to avoid saying, I didn't do it in the name of the victim or the individual. No, people are also individuals. The families want also revenge for their loved one who was being wronged, and there is nothing wrong with that. I would have cut this one out because then you can push away some people. You can notice also that the crowd didn't say anything during that time. That tells you something. And now the last and biggest one.
Suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war.
I think that's a major mistake. She wants a clean break from the previous presidency. She wants a cleaner break from Biden. Look, what she's saying here is very nice. She's very empathetic. She's a good woman. She's still supporting Biden. She's still on his side. Great. However, this is politics. I would have advised her to be a bit more ruthless. People are not happy with the current administration. Take a step away from it. Frame yourself as a bigger change. Not Biden and I are working. What does that even mean? You give to Trump on a silver platter the chance to say, you've been there 4 years, you haven't done it. Why? Instead say, I will. I will be the president and I will have the power to do it. You're only the vice president. You can afford to take a cleaner break, and you should have, in my opinion.
President Biden and I are working to end.
Also, these are working. People don't like that. It gives the impression that so far you have failed. Don't say we are working. Say we are progressing. We are advancing. We are moving toward. That's much better frame already. But better yet, take a cleaner break from this administration. But these are just 3 tips. Overall, this was a hell of a speech. And this part here was my favorite. Very, very powerful. At the same time, she was powerful for herself while delivering a strong job at Trump.
I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump.
Good that she repeated it.
Because, they know
Good.
He is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
Bang. Good one.
And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and I.
Good. I think it's very important for her to show some strength and power because that's Trump's biggest selling point, and her biggest weakness was her perceived weakness. So it's important for her to show strength. It's more difficult for a woman because she must show strength without coming across as overly domineering. Otherwise, she will pay a price with, men and, of course, white men who don't like often covertly strong women. But this is not even a criticism. It makes sense. We will have a video in the future. Anyway, I don't want to waffle too much. Great speech. I'm not judging policies here, but I think she's a good character. She's a good woman. And, it's easy being a better character than Trump, in my opinion. Again, I'm not judging policies. In policies, I'm actually closer to Trump. However, her character is head and shoulder above. Cheers, guys.